It's my pleasure to introduce Dele Ajele. Dele is the co-executive director of BNI Alberta South, together with his wife Moji. He's also a certified trainer and business coach. Dele has a background in engineering. He earned a doctorate in mechanical engineering from Dalhousie University in Nova Scotia as a Commonwealth Scholar. And his career as a professional engineer, spanned a couple of decades and a variety of industries, resulting in a well-rounded approach he now uses in BNI and in his role as a business coach. Upon joining Moji as a member of the Alberta South Regional Team in late 2014, Dele supported 2 chapters and saw both grow by over 50% in 2 years. In January 2017, Dele took over the launch director role for the region and has since launched 7 chapters in our region, with a few core groups currently in progress. Dele is passionate about helping business professionals achieve their business goals so they can live the life of their dreams. Dele, thank you so much. I'll leave it with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex. And it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you all for joining us in this session. As you know, this is about growing your chapter through power teams. And especially kind of focused on chapters that are under 25. Obviously, it's applicable wherever you may be with a little bit of tweaks. But before I go, I know I need to share my screen, but before I do that, I just wanted to ask, I want to kind of have a feel for people in the room. So if you would just physically raise your hand, how many people here are either directors or ambassadors? If you just raise your hand. Okay, about half of the room. So how many are members, strictly your members? Okay, very good. All right, thank you very much. So we have a mix. And so I would be asking, if you are part of a power team and things like that. I just wanted to know, how the room is constituted. So give me just a moment and I will share my screen right now. Okay, so like all the way. Okay, thank you for your patience. And yes, so growing chapters through power teams. And again, we all do understand what power teams are about, but I'm going to, again, ask a few questions so to allow me to direct exactly where the emphasis in this presentation goes. And so as we have a mix of members and directors, I want to ask how many of the members, right, that are here today are already part of a power team. And Alex, if you could, just see there and give me a rough number. If you're a member of a power team, you can just say yes in the chat. If you're not, just say no in the chat. And Alex will give me a quick rundown of who is you.
It looks like almost everybody who's attending today, with a couple exceptions, are already a member of a power team.
Very good. That is fantastic, to hear that. And so just a quick understanding, and I believe that you already understood most of this, definitions and definitions. So I'm going to run through them very quickly. Difference between contact sphere and power team. Contact sphere is a group of professionals that are complementary but do not compete. And a very, very common example is a realtor and a mortgage broker. We know they can always work together. They can work together, for the same client, but they're not really a threat in any way to each other. They do not compete. That's the contact sphere. Contact sphere is naturally occurring in the sense that if those professions, they kind of relate, regardless of whether we have any relationship with the individuals or not, they are naturally occurring. Whereas power team, now before I go into power team, this is just this is a list of contact sphere categories that are available, commonly available in BNI. And this, you probably have come across this, many, many times. Again, all these professions exist in those different categories, right? Real estate, home and auto, health and beauty, business and finance and marketing. But power team, the big difference between contact fair and power team is that power team has intentionality, with it. It's a group of individuals, they may be part of a contact fair, but sometimes maybe not necessarily part of a contact fair, but they have come together with intention to work together to generate referrals for one another. And so the big difference between those two, one is naturally occurring, the other has intention and commitment involved in it. So a number of quick points. For a power team, a very effective power team, BNI in the e-learning course in BNI Business Builder recommend 8 will be an optimum number of a very, very good power team. However, anything from 4 to 12 is, it's a good number. If you have 4, you can start, working on a power team for sure, or you can start functioning as a power team all the way to 12. Now, there are outliers out there, and we will talk maybe a little bit about that later on. Outliers, there's a group in Tampa who is, the 33 members of the power team, and they're doing phenomenally well. So it does not necessarily pigeonhole everything, but optimum number 8. Number of power teams, say if your chapter is say under 25, say let's say 20 members of the chapter, you're looking roughly, it'll be great to have 4 power teams going and start to build, with that structure in place. Now, also, I want to mention that as the power team e-learning course in BNI Business Builder, also formerly BNI University, exceptional, course. I would recommend, whether you're already a part of a power team or not, please take that course. Several hours of real, phenomenal course out there. And in order for us, as you go into whether you're trying to revamp the power team that you're part of, or you're trying to build one yourself, ask the question, what if? What if by using this concept and this structure that is so well defined and so well described in BNI, what if you can escalate the growth of your business in such a way that not only will you be working consistently on your business, you will actually achieve the goal and live the life of your dream way, way before, before you plan, for it to be. So I want to very quickly talk about, okay, why power team, why they're important, and then who should be in your power team. And then we can, again, move on from there. First of all, as a chapter member yourself, you've heard this stats so many times that 50 to 67, even 70% of your business will come from your power team. If with a power team that's structured well and is running effectively. Now, just imagine that if you don't belong to a functioning power team, how much money are you leaving on the table? That's just, and again, this is something that's been established over the years and established through different scenarios. And the reason is simply is that you have stronger relationships in those in a power team that is effective, that's functioning very well. And the stronger your relationship, the more the potential for people to want to help you. I think it's Don Lyon in her presentation that says, no, it is the power of those relationships, the strength of those relationships that brings, the benefits, that we're all looking for in our interaction in our chapters. And it's also easy to understand each other's business if you're in a power team. And the easier it is for you, the more you understand the other person's business, the easier it is for you to start a conversation on their behalf and therefore generate referrals, even proactively. And it also provides focus. So we're able to focus a lot more than instead of thinking of 35, 40 people in chapter, you focused on thinking of a few, who are really, truly aligned with your business. And because you serve the same clients, it is so much easier to talk about your power team member to your client who are very, very likely to need what your power team member supplies. And as a chapter, power teams so powerful in growing a chapter because it allows you to build strategically. Like, it's, you're going out there, you're inviting people who for sure you can provide referrals to. You're not just say, come to my chapter and, if it may work for you, you may be able to get business. No, you're saying, look, I have a plumber in my chapter who is looking for an electrician in my power team, and I know that this plumber is able to give referrals to an electrician. So if want to see if you're a good fit for that team. So inviting to power teams really allows the chapters to grow more strategically and allow members to integrate quicker when they come into the chapter, because they're coming into a power team, they're able to integrate with people, with like businesses and increase productivity. Yes, that says it all, because they're able to generate referrals quicker. And as a result, by just leveraging contact sphere, again, allows us to leverage naturally occurring contact sphere to develop what really powerfully works for the chapter, and synergies and collaborations. And in fact, there are groups in our region today who have gone beyond just having the power team in a chapter. They've gone cross chapter to generate it. I think it's a marketing power team across chapter. They brought quite a few people together. They won't give it a name. They call it a fuse box. And their plan, I don't know at this point if they have bidded, but their plan is to actually go and bid for bigger projects together, so that again they can really leverage the power of the connectivity that they have. And of course, if we ever wonder or doubt, why building a chapter is important, continuing to grow the chapter is important, and we know it's easier through power teams. This chart, shows that this is our global numbers, that on the average, when a chapter is around 25 members, on the average, $34,000 per member per year is the average seed value. And see that number as it grows, to 30 and to 40, what that can be. If you are given a choice to be in a chapter of 25 members and of 40 members, seeing these numbers, the question is, which one would you choose? It's a rhetorical question, of course, because you pay the same amount of money to be part of BNI, you're likely going to be, joining the 40-member chapter just because of the return on investment. And so, in summary of why power teams is that simply it is more money for the chapter member. For you to be in BNI and not be a part of effective power team, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. It's more money, for you. And not only that, it's more fun and engagement, because the more you engage in a smaller unit in your chapter, a smaller unit that's way more relevant to you and your business, a smaller unit that's more committed to you and generating more, referral to you, the more you feel that the chapter is yours, the more you feel that you belong in that chapter, and more likely you will stay longer in the chapter. And so it impacts retention and also make the chapter more attractive, to visitors that come into the chapter and those that are looking. And so I want to come back to that question, to say, if you're part of a chapter today and maybe you're a director and you're trying to, really convey this message to, chapter members, either new members or existing members, people who are on the fence, who are on the line, not getting all that value for their membership in BNI, I wanted to consider this question. What if you were like Jason Avery, a BNI member and BNI referral masters in Tampa, who, when he came in as a new member 10 years ago, he was actually on a podcast with Dr. Ivan Meissner in May of 2020. And so this information is right available and to the public. And when he came in 10 years ago, the chapter was 30 members of the chapter, and very few, if anyone in the power team. And today there are 105 members in the chapter, steadily growing, and 33 members of his power team. And they strategically and systematically, consistently grow to the point that now I don't know where exactly his business was when he joined, but today he's a $4 million operation with 40 employees who is now completely working on his business. And a lot of that is attributed to the growth his business experienced through power teams. And so what if that is your business? What if you've, taking that, whatever the initiative and the step it takes, it takes you to that level? Or what if you're Richard Shimura? Richard is the national director of BNI in Poland. Richard, again, I don't remember the exact year, but when he joined BNI, in the particular chapter he joined, they were 14 of them, 14 members. And he was taught the concept of power teams. He was taught to take responsibility for starting his own power team, for running that power team, for making it work. He started a power team. He invited, he was the owner of a advertising agency and a marketing agency. And he started inviting people to whom he can work with, and started to grow the power team. And in 2 years, that power team grew to 20. And the chapter grew from 14 to 80 members. Now, that's not even the exciting part of it, or the only exciting part of it. Is that perhaps the most exciting part of it is that Richard grew his business from a one-man agency to almost 100 in 4 years. 100-man agency in 4 years. And he attributed that almost solely to the effort of building a power team. He built his power team, the power team builds his chapter, and together they build his business. And so I want you to ask that question, whether you're talking to others or you're asking yourself, what if this could happen to my business? What if I took this step and are able to see this kind of impact in my business? So wherever you are, the first thing I would like to leave you with or kind of stress today is taking responsibility. Full responsibility should be the first step. Don't say, oh yeah, we have a power team leader somewhere who, I'm going to talk to them. No, it's not your chapter president. It's not your power team leader. It's not the secretary treasurer. It's you who want to build your business. And this is the number one tool that can escalate, that growth for your business, not just for your business, but for the chapter. So take full responsibility. And the first step is to define your target market. Who are you trying to reach? Define it as narrowly as possible, as clearly as possible, so that, again, we all know specific is terrific. And we know that over and over again that we need to define who we're looking for. So define your target market. And the next is to look for members of the chapter who have very similar target market. Now, they may be exactly in your contact sphere, or they may not be, but those who are targeting the same market, the same, clients as you are looking for, those are the ones that you make a list of and start to think how you can work with them, to create a power team. And the third step is to actually activate that. And here, be careful here, because this is where, people get excited and they want to invite, 5 people at the same time. No, and the instruction or the most effective step is to one by one, just do a one-to-one with each of them. Find the first person that you think you very much, most aligned with, do a one-to-one with them, ask, the relevant questions, find out if they're willing to work with you, and define, make sure that you clarify the target market and all the conditions that's necessary, to be a good, power team member. And I'll go through that, some of those conditions very quickly. I call the 4 C's. The 4 C's being credibility. Do they have the credibility that will make you comfortable and confident to refer to them? That's one. The number 2 is competence. Are they competent in what they do? That again, they're not going to embarrass you, when you refer to them. And number 3 is clarity. Are they clear in the way they describe what they need, their clients, and just everything? And obviously they can learn some of that. And finally, is connectivity. How well are they connected, and are they willing to build their network to work together with you? And then start doing this one-to-one. And once you once you find the first person, both of you again start working together, to establish or to create a power team that's going to work very well for you. There is, and I'm jumping ahead here because there's so many other steps, between that and actually having a functioning power team, and then start talking about having power team meeting. There is a phenomenal work agenda, meeting agenda for a power team in the e-learning course at BNI University. And again, I can't recommend it highly enough for you to take that course, and ensure whoever you're inviting to your power team also takes that course. But there is a power team action plan. Again, once you get into place, that 2, 3, 4 of you can sit down and actually work through this action plan. And I put, could you kindly put this in the chat box? Sorry, in the chat box, Alex. It's tinyurl.com, BNIPTAP, which is Power Team Action Plan Sample. And you can download that and use it with your power team. One more thing, as far as once the power team starts to run, one of the key elements, which is also present, which is also one of the elements in the agenda, power team agenda, which was actually created by Jason Avery, the guy I used as an example and earlier on, is during the power team meeting, for each to come up with 3 things. Number 1, start with I have. So by I have is, what do you have in your network or among your clients that can benefit, members of your power team? Number 2 is I want. What do you need that you want members of your power team to supply, to help you with? And finally, I will. What are you committing to do for your power team members in the next week, or in the next couple of weeks before the next power team meeting? All of those just key elements that makes it easy, or makes it productive for power teams, to be productive. I will wrap up with this and say there are 2 elements that will make your power team work phenomenally and possibly replicate some of the results that we have seen around the world. Those 2 elements, number 1 is accountability. Every member is willing to be accountable. In fact, I know Jason's group, if you're absent 3 times, you're kicked off the power team. That's accountability. Number 2 is commitment. Those 2 are related, obviously, but really each person every week saying, or when you come together and meet together saying, look, this is what I'm going to bring. I will bring this, for my power team members, for our next meeting. Those 2 things working together will give you outstanding results. Not only will you build your chapter, you will build your business, and for sure achieve your goal much sooner. And as we all want, able to live the lives of your dream. Thank you very much, Leslie.
Or Dele, rather, we have just about 3.5 minutes here. If there are questions, if you're open to Q&A, we've got about 3.5 minutes left in the session here.
Totally, I'm open. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I wanted to ask, I feel like I'm in two potential power teams in my chapter. So okay. How does that work? Should you just stick with one, or should you be in two? What would you recommend?
For sure, stick with one. I know that there are people who have said, yeah, you can be in two power teams, but absolutely, when it comes to commitment and what makes power team exceptionally effective, stick to one and let that one be the one. So you may find yourself in a power team that kind of focuses on your client, or one that's more of a contact sphere. Focus on the one that aligns with your client, your target market. And that's where you're going to get the most from your power team.
Hi, Elliot. Great presentation. I have found as a DC and including my own chapter, there's been a big focus on power teams this year, but they've been not really organic. People have been assigned power teams. So I'm a bit concerned of how that's going to pan out down the year. So, you try and guide and support, but I don't know if it's quite the same as people really wanting to be there versus them being assigned one.
Right. Very good question. And I've heard that complaints in a couple of other chapters. What I will recommend is that, first of all, speak either the whoever is is in charge of assigning that, or the LET, just make sure to direct them to the e-learning course in BNI University. Because sometimes when you are the one that's telling them and asking them, they may, well, we know what to do. But if they take that course, it makes it very, very clear that, each person or the leader of the power team taking responsibility and making sure power teams really align with their target market rather than just being assigned. It's the best way to make it effective.
Ellie, going back on the first question about being on more than one power team,
right.
I just wanted to get your opinion. Something I forget where I heard it or maybe saw it in a podcast somewhere was a person that was a part of one team, but there was, say, a second power team that was related or similar, and both power teams are operating independently, but periodically they kind of get together and meet to see or explore if there's opportunities to kind of cross connect or cross promote in that. Thoughts on that?
Absolutely. That is workable. As long as this person is committed to one power team, yes, the related power team, they can get together from time to time. In fact, in that podcast, one of the recommendations that Dr. Ivan Meisner made was to, once in a while, invite others to your power team. So if they're from related power team, invite them to be, to kind of, exchange ideas and see what you do. And it can only make you better.